Well, now it's time for Moment's Community Leadership Award. And this year, that award is going to someone who has been part of the Moment world, the Moment family for a long time, and who was a mentor to Nadine when she first took over Moment in 2004. Nadine grew up on the Jersey Shore. She lived around the world. She used to be a reporter in Chicago. But she was fortunate to meet someone here who knew practically everyone in Jewish D.C., and more important, somebody who knew how to make things happen. That person is Esther Safran Foer. Esther helped transform 6th and I into what it is today, and she's now working that same magic as chair of the new Lillian and Albert Small Capital Jewish Museum. She's also the author of I Want You to Know We're Still Here, a post-Holocaust memoir, but as she often says, her biggest accomplishment is her family, along with a bit of help from her husband, Bert, who also serves on Moment's board. Tonight, we're going to hear from all three of her remarkable sons, Frank Foer, Jonathan Safran Foer, and Josh Foer, all incredibly accomplished people themselves. Jonathan will be joining us by video. Frank and Josh, please come up to the podium.
In the hardest of hardest times, I'm stuck with you, I guess. But not Jonathan. Jonathan, I think, well,
he's not really joining us by video, is he?
No.
No. Well, it's actually, I must say, a tremendous honor for Frank and I to be here tonight to acknowledge this extraordinary, hard-earned recognition, truly a lifetime in the making, of us having been selected as our mother's two favorite sons to introduce her tonight. Seriously, Jonathan wishes he could be here. He had a conflict, and he sends his regrets, which I am certain, Mom, will be duly noted in the next draft of your will.
Yeah. I'm sorry he was unable to deliver his hip-hop operetta tribute that was written in the form of limerick to Mom. Because this is Washington, you'll have to show some generosity in the face of name-dropping. But my mother and I were once sitting in the green room of 6 and I with Tom Friedman, and before he was about to speak, he leaned over and he told me, "What I love about your mother is that she's the ultimate Jewish mother." And I think his implication is that Esther Foer is more than just my mother or Josh's mother, or you wouldn't know it from his absence, Jonathan's mother. But she's played that role for a broader world. Whether we wanted to share her or not, we didn't have a choice. She was born a refugee and spent her earliest years in a displaced persons camp. And she remembered the older woman who lived on the other side of the plywood in the barracks where she lived, who showered her with sweets, toys, and kindness. And every time she's had a chance to reciprocate that kindness to her fellow refugees, she seized it. When we were kids, 3 generations of newly arrived Soviet Jews came in the middle of the night and lived in our basement for weeks. Then in 2021, a family of 8 Afghans, the youngest of them 1 month old, became the residents of my parents' house. And our mother remains a maternal figure, a mother for Muslim girls and Russian Jewish twins. Within the Washington Jewish community, she's assumed that role too. In each institution she's led, she's bestowed her young rabbis, cultural programmers, and curators with a boundless sense that they can accomplish anything. And for the Jewish people of the city, she's shown that same nurturing love and glowing warmth, infusing the cultural and spiritual infrastructure of this city with her own overbrimming vitality. And she's only used her capacity for inducing guilt on the donor class. So in a sense, we're the surrogates for all of you, since we're the biological beneficiaries of the gifted mothering that she has touched you all with.
Mom, you nourish everyone around you with your creativity and your vision, and we couldn't be luckier to have learned at your feet and to rely daily on your wisdom. You're a model of how to live a life of leadership and generosity for your family, for your community, and for the Jewish people. Sharing your love is our pride, and we couldn't quell any harder.
Oh, we're taking a photo.
We can use Photoshop to put Jonathan's face in.
Just like our New Year's cards. All right, we'll let you go.
What do you want us to do? We did have to Photoshop a few of those New Year's cards. But I'm not going to tell you who was Photoshopped in or out. Some people were Photoshopped out, actually. Girlfriends that didn't make it. Okay. Sorry, I was going to... Now I'll get serious. Very serious. These are difficult times for the Jewish world. And I'm grateful that we can be here today, tonight, as a community. As my boys said, my parents were Holocaust survivors, the sole survivors of their large families in Europe. I am, like everyone in this room, almost petrified by the pervasive sense of déjà vu. I found out this morning that one of the hostages, 19-year-old IDF soldier Itai Chen, a dual American-Israeli citizen, is actually the nephew of one of my cousins. So, for so many of us, it's become very personal. In the midst of this tragedy, however, we need to express gratitude wherever we can. So let me do a little bit of that. To Nadine and the team at Moment, thank you for this recognition. Thank you even more for the work you do day in and day out to produce a magazine and a platform that encourages progress and understanding in all sectors of Jewish community life. Thank you. To my family, two of those three young men. Is he watching this? And the terrific women who became daughters in my life, and the 7 beautiful grandchildren that have been made part of our family. You bring me joy, you bring me optimism, and you bring me new wisdom every day. And to my husband, Bert, my husband for over half a century. Who can believe that? Yes. Who has supported and encouraged me in everything, even some of the crazy projects I've taken on, and who has truly made me a better person. Thank you, Bert. And to my late mother, who modeled strength and resilience and taught us always to look forward without fear, to be creative and to take risks. And to the people with whom I've had the privilege to work, some of whom are here, over a long and varied career. I'll just tell you briefly, I was a late bloomer. Just about the time people decide to retire, after a long professional life in public relations, I knew I wanted and needed a second act, something personally fulfilling. By luck, I happened to become involved in Sixth and I, as its founders, who had just purchased the old Addis Israel, were trying to figure out what to do with that historic building. One thing led to another, and I had what was for me the opportunity of a lifetime to become its full-time CEO for a decade. After I finally sort of retired, I took the time to reflect on my family's history and wrote a memoir whose title was, and is poignant today, I Want You to Know We're Still Here. Then came the opportunity to help open the new Lillian and Albert Small Capital Jewish Museum. What I found working during those years, working in and around the Jewish community, has been a fulfillment of my life's passion. Just as supporting Moment magazine has been the fulfillment of a passion of a lot of people in this room. So thank you all, and even in these dark days, I cherish my mother's optimism about the future. Thank you.